Welcome to the Incompetent Griller, where I'm going to teach you, an incompetent griller, how to look like you know what you're doing when grilling in front of your family and friends. Today we'll be grilling a couple racks of lamb on a Weber kettle grill. As we get the coal chimney started, if you've ever sat through a viewing of Lamb Chops Play Along and got to the point of wanting to see that little lamb slaughtered and butchered after listening to the song that doesn't end for the 1000th time, then this video is for you. A rack of lamb is basically a series of lamb chops, so wish granted. Before you cook your lamb, be sure to let it rest at room temperature for about an hour. This will help us get an even cook throughout the meat. I should admit that I'm not sure I've ever had lamb before this moment. If you're curious about the flavor, it has some similarities to beef, but it definitely has its own unique flavor.
Tastes like chicken.
No, not chicken. I said beef. Most times that you buy a rack of lamb from the store, it will be French cut, which may seem pretentious, but it just means someone trimmed the fat away to expose the bone. Think of it as being given a handle for your meat. If yours was not French cut, that's okay. Either way is fine for this recipe. For our seasoning, we'll be using Kinder's Greek Blend. I know some people cook their lamb with mint, but that doesn't sound appetizing to me at all. However, there is a Greek dish I like, which is sometimes made with lamb. They're called gyros or gyros? I know I'm mispronouncing it.
How would you pronounce it then?
Gyro.
Alright, anyway, so gyros are from Greece, so that's why we're hitting our meat with the Greek blend. If you're not familiar with gyros, they're kind of like shawarma.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
After you've finished seasoning your lamb, you're going to remember that you plan to score the top layer of fat to help it render better and get your seasoning closer to the meat. So, once you've rectified your error, sprinkle on some more seasoning into the crevices. We're going to cook these lamb racks hot and fast today on indirect heat, so open up your vents all the way. As I like to say, hot coals, open vents, can't lose.
I don't think that's the expression.
Can you just let me have this?
If you only have one rack, set it on the indirect heat side of the grill. If you have 2 racks, you can tent them like so, with the fat facing the heat to act as a sort of shield, which will hopefully help the fat to render. We'll cook these for 30 minutes, checking in on them at the 15-minute mark. Remember to leave the lid on. As you may know, Zeus takes a lot of flack in Greek mythology for being too hands-off, but actually that's because he knew the secret to good grilling. If you're looking, you're not cooking, so don't touch that lid. While you're waiting, in keeping with the theme of cooking up some lamb, why not check out the teaser trailer for Goats the Musical here on this channel? I realize goats and lambs are different, but it's only a couple minutes long, so you can afford to watch it multiple times while your rack of lamb cooks. After 15 minutes, we're going to rotate these racks to balance out the heat. Our lamb is temping at 95 degrees Fahrenheit on what had been closest to the heat, and about 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the rack that was on the far side. Now put the lid back on for another 15 minutes, depending on how close you are to your desired final temperature. Lamb should be cooked to 145 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the USDA. We're going for closer to 135, which is a medium rare, even though you probably don't want to mess with the USDA.
I can't go back to jail!
145 works out to a medium well, so there's not much benefit to cooking in them any longer than that. It really all depends on your personal preferences. After 15 more minutes, we're around 115 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm going to put the lid on for another 15 minutes. On a side note, the fat is rendering, so it would be wise for you to use a drip pan below your lamb so this doesn't happen to you. Anyway, after yet another 15 minutes, we're at 137 degrees and 143 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'd say we're good to pull these. But first, let's add a little sear for some extra color as we finish these off. Just put these over the coals for about 1 minute. As I slice between the rib bones, check out how juicy these are. This level of pink says we nailed the medium rare we were aiming for. These look delicious. And, as it turns out, they taste delicious too. If you so desire, you can pair it on your plate with a Mediterranean salad, recipe in the description. I'm going to stop this video now. Let me know of your own successes down in the comments after trying this method yourselves. Have a great day.